I'm going to be talking you through how to not have a mid-physique in 2025. Hello and welcome back to another YouTube video. I hope you're well wherever you are, whatever the time, and I hope you've had a great start to 2025. Just a little disclaimer as well. This video is obviously for people who want to dedicate a large part of their day-to-day life to physique development. I just don't want to have people on this video talking about how they don't have enough time, or physique development is too vain, or I just don't care about that, or it's obsessive. This isn't obviously for that person. This is for somebody that actually really cares about the way that they look. I also thought I'd kick the year off with this as the first video of the year, because typically during this time of the year, most people's motivation is sky high. This is where most people are going to actually listen in, take in, just absorb a lot of information for them to then have a good year. It's no use me bringing out this video in like March or April. So let's get straight into it with step number one. As soon as you finish watching this video, you need to decide whether or not you need to go through a fat loss phase, or you're somebody who needs to gain size. And you're probably thinking, how do I make that decision? Well, somebody who needs to gain size straight out of the gate is probably somebody who's sitting between 8 to 15% body fat, somebody who has really good muscle separation. So you can see the difference between the shoulders, the biceps, the triceps. It's not just like one blur. They likely have visible abs, they haven't got love handles, and they probably have a pretty small waist. If you're somebody that fits into that category or pretty close to that category, you can probably be safe to bet that you don't need to go through a fat loss phase. You need to think about actually adding some size. On the other side of the coin, if you're somebody who's obviously visibly overweight, somebody who doesn't really have much muscle separation, just a lot of body fat, you're sitting somewhere between the 25 to 30% body fat range, you likely need to go through a fat loss phase. Now, regardless of what camp you're in, the fat loss camp or the you need to gain size camp, that's not how you're going to spend the entirety of a year likely, but you do need a start point. Step number two, get help. I cannot recommend highly enough getting yourself a coach. What you've been doing up until this point through 2024, probably 2023, has not been working. It's only led you to have a physique which is categorized as mid, right? You obviously need to try a different approach or have somebody help you. The best form of help that you can get for physique development is getting a coach, and getting a coach that has taken somebody from the physique that you pretty much have to a physique that you want, that you desire to have, or at the very least that person has taken themselves through the process of going from a position that you're currently in to a position that you want to be in. Investing in a coach will save you a lot of time. It will save you from making a lot of mistakes, and honestly it just means that you have somebody to make decisions when it comes to your physique. If you don't have the means to get that kind of help, then you need to go balls deep into researching yourself. But as I said, I cannot recommend enough getting yourself a coach and getting another set of eyes on your physique. The next step is making sure that you keep track of your data. People that wing the process have mid-physiques. You should be able to tell me what your body weight is. You should be able to tell me what your macros are. You should be able to know your program inside out. You should be able to know most of your lifts. Keeping track of data actually lets you know if you're moving closer towards your goal, and it also makes adjustments a lot easier. If you don't even know your body weight, how do you know that you're in a calorie deficit, which is necessary for fat loss? One of the good things about hiring a coach is that that person will make you track your data. That is part of the coaching process. So it's almost like step 2 and step 3 are interlinked. Step 4 is do not sweat the small stuff. Your priority is tackling the lowest hanging fruit. That means nailing your sleep. It means nailing your training intensity, progressive overload, and being consistent with your nutrition. If you get really good and dialed in at doing those things, all these other minor things like ice baths and Tonka Ali, and if you take your creatine before bed or in the morning, they just don't matter if you're nailing that low-hanging fruit. If you do these basics really, really well, you will just accelerate past anybody who's stressing about these small trends, fads. The sooner that you realize that just doing those basics really, really well will get you to your goal quicker than these trends, the sooner you'll have an elite physique and not a physique that's mid. Step number 5 is make sure you're having a consideration for your weekends. People with mid physiques forget about their goals over the weekend, but they fail to realize that the weekend is literally 40% of your week. I'm not saying don't be sociable. I'm not saying isolate yourself from your family and your friends, but make sure that you're still considering your goals over the weekend. You will not have a high level physique if you are just going out and getting smashed every weekend, not training, not doing your cardio, and just completely scrapping your diet. And finally, step number 6, make sure you're thinking in years and not in weeks. Now, I know many of you are going to watch this video and think that you're going to be able to get this process done within a couple of weeks. And you're going to be really excited after watching this video and think things are just going to change for you instantly. But I want you to think of this as a process for the entirety of the year, throughout the whole of 2025. Physique development does take time, especially if you're looking to build a great deal of muscle or drastically change your body composition. I know you've been led to believe that these transformations can happen in 8 to 12 weeks, and sure, you can get some nice change done in that time, but you're not going to build the habits to take your physique from mid-level to elite level and then sustain it. So make sure that you're thinking long term. And that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure to subscribe for more tips. I'm also going to be bringing out some weekly vlogs as well. I'm obviously starting my competition prep, and it'll be starting in the, what's the date today? My competition prep will be starting in a couple of weeks. So obviously there'll be vlogs for those. So if you want to keep up with that, season 3 of Why Not Me, make sure you subscribe, like the video if you found it useful, and I'll see you next week.